No man is an island. These words were written 399 years ago by John Donne, the English poet. I first read those words over 50 years ago as a plebe here at the Naval Academy. What they say to me is, any success I've enjoyed in life is because of the people I've had the opportunity to work with. So before I address my remarks to the brigade, I'd like to say a few thank yous. First and foremost, to my family. My lovely wife, Leanne, of 47 years, has stood by me and supported me 100% in my career. Thank you, Leanne. Thank you to my two daughters, Kimberly and Katie, their husbands, Ty and John. We're blessed with 5 wonderful grandchildren who are here this weekend. My grandson Conrad is here at this event and will be at the dinner tonight as part of my not-so-subtle recruiting program. Thank you, Admiral Harris and the DGA committee. This is the most important recognition I will receive in my life. To Admiral Buck, it's been a pleasure getting to know you over the last few years. You've done a fantastic job as a superintendent and guided the Academy through a very difficult pandemic. Admiral Ferguson, thank you for your leadership of the Alumni Association. Thank you, Jeff Webb, as the CEO of our Alumni Association and Foundation. You've hit the ground running, just what we would expect from a Navy SEAL. Admiral Gary Jones, the Vice President of our class. Gary was responsible for putting my package together for this award and clearly has the ability to turn a sow's ear into a silk purse. To Chris Chikanovich, our class president, thank you for your support and thank you for all you do for our class. My roommates, for giving me grief for literally over 50 years. It's always been well-deserved, but always in good fun. Doug Ayers, Mike Meyer, and Dan Murphy. I'm deeply touched that 15 of our 20 graduating company mates have come to this event from all over the country. These are some of my dearest friends. And lastly, to the class of 1975, as Hyde Lentz would say, are you out there, 75? Please stand up. Stand up! The Naval Academy is an institution in the most positive sense of the word. It has existed long before any of us in this room were born, and God willing will exist long after we're gone. Being part of something bigger and more durable than ourselves puts life in perspective. In the words of Kenny Chesney, don't blink, 50 years goes faster than you think. It's been over 50 years since we graduated, but we vividly remember the challenges we faced when we were here, and we resonate to the challenges you face today. I'd like to tell you a little bit about our class to give you a feel for what you might see over the next 50 years. Our class yielded 24 flag officers, 2 4-stars, John Greenert, Chief of Naval Operations, and Kirk Donnell, our very own Admiral Rickover. We lost 8 classmates in the line of duty, including 1 astronaut. We have world-class doctors, excellent and very successful corporate executives. We have religious leaders, and numerous members of our class have started foundations for charitable causes. We also have a record that you will not surpass. Our class got to the top of Herndon, which was greased, in 20 minutes. And my company mate, Mike Maynard, is here that made it to the top. Now let me tell you a little bit about you. I had the opportunity last year, working with the superintendent and Steve Vossen, to do some deep strategic analysis of the brigade and the Naval Academy. And we started with some very difficult hypotheses and collected facts to analyze the brigade and the Naval Academy. We even got data back to 1900 to do this analysis. First, I would say, you're an amazing group. The capability of the midshipmen today is unsurpassed. Your academic, leadership, and athletic accomplishments are many. You will graduate women at a higher rate than the current fleet profile. You will graduate a higher percentage of diversity midshipmen than our peer schools. You will have a much lower attrition rate than we had. The attrition rate of our class was 39%. We had people that show up plebe year not knowing you had to wear a uniform at the Naval Academy. The Academy is much more selective and has very high standards. You are multi-dimensional individuals, and you are very success-oriented. For those in the audience that don't know, the Naval Academy is rated the #1 top public school in the country. It's the #4 top engineering school, and it's the #6 top liberal arts school. While our past is certain, you face a very uncertain future. The world is in a very volatile state right now. You will be faced with solving the problem with China and numerous other national security issues we're dealing with. You will be the leaders of our country for the decades ahead. One of my favorite quotes is "Luck favors the prepared mind," paraphrased from Louis Pasteur. The Naval Academy does an excellent job of preparing our minds for success. I spent the last few decades working with global corporations creating sustainable competitive advantage. The Academy created personal competitive advantage in me as it will you. It came in the form of conceptual thinking. It came in the form of leadership and discipline. I learned how to think here, not what to think. The Academy taught me how to lead. You will hear a lot about leadership in your 4 years here. It will be a differentiator for you in your life. Your leadership will be tested many times. Mine was tested very early in my career. After completing my nuclear power training in submarine school, I reported to the USS MG Vallejo. As I walked to the ship, I was met at the brow by Master Chief Davis, who gave me a sharp salute and said, "Sir, welcome aboard, you're my new boss. I'd like to take you aft and introduce you to your crew." So we go aft, and the reactor controls division was assembled, and Chief Davis reached into a bag and said, "Sir, the first thing we want to do is issue your tools." And I'm thinking, this is great. Not only am I going to be able to boss these guys around, but I'm going to be able to work on the equipment. He reached in and pulled out a pair of pliers with a broken jaw. He reached into the bag and pulled out a screwdriver with a broken blade. And he said, "Sir, if you touch the equipment with anything other than this, we'll break your damn arm." Luckily, I had learned at the Naval Academy that leadership is about respect, not power. And I developed a very good relationship with Master Chief Davis. He became one of my first mentors in the Navy, and I got along very well with the crew. Your academic training will be an advantage as well. I've used what I've learned here many, many times over the years. Last year, I had the opportunity to spend a day at the Academic Center and sat in on a number of sessions. As it so happens, one of the sessions was on Le Chatelier's principle. Now, all of you, I'm sure, remember from your chemistry class what Le Chatelier's principle was. It's basically a concept that says if you take a system in equilibrium and you apply forces, the system will rearrange itself to relieve the forces. Well, I developed a comprehensive change management program for major corporations based on that concept, and it's very successful to this day. Not everyone will appreciate all the wonderful things you learn here. Leanne and I were having dinner in Dallas with a friend, and it was a hot new restaurant. We're standing outside the restaurant after dinner, and I said, do you realize that if Einstein's field equations have an oscillating solution, trillions and trillions of years from now, we could be standing right here? He looked at me and he said, I don't think so, I didn't like the food. Just to wrap up, I hope for you and your future that the Naval Academy will mean as much to you and create as much success in your life as it has in mine. Enjoy what you're doing and always remain curious.